So Ed is starting to build our fire for our cooking project. And he usually starts out with a piece of cardboard, and I think we have way more cardboard than is needed to start a fire. He usually doesn't use this much, but we just had some stuff that we needed to get rid of. So that goes on the bottom.
I'll just kind of puff it up so the fire wants to come up through it. And I'm going to cover it with little tiny sticks and then go bigger, bigger, bigger. And took the plastic out of the tissue. Plastic's yucky.
Yeah, it doesn't burn very good, so just want cardboard here. We collected firewood yesterday. You can see he's got it kind of all sorted out. We got some really big stuff in the back that he might have to chop up later. And these are the little sticks that are more like kindling. And then these are the bigger chunks that'll give us the coals that we need for our project.
Yeah, I think I'm going to gather some finer sticks here to get it started and then put those in. Those are a little bit big for starting.
So he's got his kindling on there, and these are just really tiny sticks. And the idea is that the tiny sticks in the cardboard burn fast and burn hot. So you start out with small stuff, and that gets you a good flame to catch the bigger stuff on fire. Am I right?
You're absolutely right there, lady.
So Ed has a ton of experience with building a campfire. He used to take 2-week vacations and do tent camping in northern Ontario in the wilderness. So he's got a lot of experience with this, but we just don't have experience with cooking in a Dutch oven. So that's our project for today.
It'll be fun.
Yes. Everything's an experience. So he's just setting some fires on each side. And he builds everything kind of in a teepee, and that guides the fire and the heat up towards the center.
Other RV folks are probably thinking, why did that man build a fire in the middle of the day?
We're not sure how long it's going to take to cook our dinner.
That's right.
So what we're looking for here is coals. So he's starting to put some bigger sticks on. And once they start catching fire, then he can start putting the even bigger logs on. And we're looking for coals. And Ed redid this fire pit when we got here. It's a lot taller now, which is important to keep the heat in and keep the coals hot. And he built on this little fire pit on the side, and that's what we're going to transfer our coals into, and the Dutch oven is going to sit in there.
That's our theory, and we're stuck with it.
Yep. Again, no experience with Dutch oven, so this is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I figure if I gotta make coals, it's going to get heat. The heat's going to vary over here, so my thought is that gives us more control over the heat. We can add or take out coals as we need it, throw them back and forth.
So his medium-sized sticks are starting to catch fire now. Again, build everything in a pyramid so the heat stays in the center. So as you all know, Ed and I just love history. And I guess it's, you know, we've been boondocking in places like this. And it just kind of pulls us into how settlers used to do it back in the 18th and the 19th centuries. So that's kind of the reason for this project. And we're really excited to learn how it works. We have big plans if we are able to learn how to cook in a Dutch oven. We have many recipes that we want to try out. So
It doesn't use any propane. Now, assuming you're in an area you can build campfire, which in northwestern Montana is not a problem. They're okay with it. They just want you to keep it contained. And I like to have a deep pit. That's why I added the larger rocks. I just took the little stones that made up the little campfire and put around the top of it. But it helps reduce the wind, and you want to try and keep your coals. You don't want them to get all messed up from the wind. So just keep adding it on here. You gotta get some coals going. I'll just crisscross it. At this point, I try to, but sometimes I don't do that good.
So you need a poker stick so you can
This is officially a poker stick.
move them to where they're supposed to be.
I guess if we were gonna do it right, we should have started with just a spark and some straw. I doubt very much that the pioneers used egg cartons and some cardboard from
Yeah,
beer.
so we are cheating a little bit, I guess. But yeah, we wanted to make a beef stew. And the thought of having the oven running for 2 or 3 hours to make a stew and all the propane that was going to use, that just really turned us off on some of these meals that we want to make. So we're doing it for free. No propane necessary.
In theory. Oh, that's my poker stick.
Yeah, Ed says if we run out of wood and the stew's not done yet, then it has to go on the stove anyway. But
Yeah.
we're hoping we can get this all done on the coals.
Maybe gonna start getting us some coals made up.
Yeah, because this is just ashes. The little pieces don't give you coals. You need the big pieces to get the coals. There might be a few little pieces of coals in there, but
I'm gonna box this in. And wear gloves. Preferably welder's gloves. And you don't have to buy fancy gloves from some campfire outfitter stores. Just ordinary welder's gloves would be best. Avoid nylon ones.
yeah, because they're just gonna melt.
Now I'm just boxing this in. It's going to come up through there. And now we'll start to get some coals. So things are, got some coals here now. I'm going to dig them out and put them over there. Sandy's got the yummy stuff already in the pot, and we'll just set it in there. It's a beef stew that you know, anybody can make. It's got the onions and carrots and yummy potatoes, and of course the beef in it, and the juice and all that good stuff. So I'm going to do that, but just one thing that I would mention, you know, of course you're playing with fire, and you want to be safe. You have a fire extinguisher, just a bucket of water, something in case some sparks fly out and start things up. Now in our case, because we're set up with a water tank in the back of the truck, I've got 47 gallons of fresh water. I can just kind of pump on, grab my hose here, and if anything gets out of hand, I can tend to it. But you don't have to have something that fancy. We just happen to have that. But you want to have something in case there's trouble. So let me dig some of these coals out. Man, yeah, baby. Oh, dang, that's hot. Okay. And then she will get the oven on. And we'll put it in there. Uh-oh. Well, I ain't going to pick that up because that is hot. Okay, my love. Ready to start?
Yeah.
You got that bad boy in there. Woo! Okay.
So we got some coals underneath the pot and some coals kind of surrounding the pot. Again, we don't know how many coals we need to do kind of like a slow cooker type of simmer, like 200 degrees. So we'll probably keep taking the lid off to see, you know, what it's doing on the inside. If it starts to boil, then it's definitely too hot. But we just got to keep an eye on it and see. And he's going to keep adding wood to the fire to make sure we have coals if we need to add them. So it's just about 10 minutes after 12 right now. So hopefully we'll have a nice stew come dinner time. I'm amazed that it took so long to get to this point, I guess, because I think we started around 10 or 10:30.
It was about 10:30.
Prepping the fire and getting everything ready. So
coals and, you know, we're just working with wood that you can collect around the camp area, which is pine, and it burns quickly. You don't get good coals. If I had oak or cherry, that'd be ideal because you have nice coals that would last a long time. So we're going to be going through quite a bit of wood as we keep transferring the coals over, as opposed to if I had a harder wood to work with. But it's free.
yeah, free cooking.
Trying to clear the ashes off here a little bit.
Yeah, it's been about an hour, so we're going to check it and see what we got going on in here. If it's simmering or boiling, or see if we can get some kind of idea what it's doing.
Got our handy dandy digital thermometer. I love this thing. Use it all the time for cooking.
Oh, wow.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, the meat is definitely cooking, starting to brown.
150. It's going to go for about 160, which is good. Leveled off at 158, so I was 2 degrees off.
Okay, so we got it going at 160 degrees. That's probably want it to be a little hotter than that.
Coming up.
So Ed's gonna put some more coals in it.
Not in the stew.
Not in the stew, around the stew. But to have the meat starting to brown and it's only been an hour, that's actually really good. So I think we're right on track.
Yeah, I'm encouraged.
Yeah.
Okay, gonna take a look. You ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Whoa, look.
Oh my goodness, we got some heat now. Whew. Fire's blowing this way. That got real hot real quick there.
One on the edges, 205 in the center. Should we give it a stir or don't you do that?
I think we probably should stir it. Just to make sure the meat keeps the juices in it and doesn't dry out. So we're gonna get our spoon here.
Okay. Woo-hoo.
So it's been 3 hours now, so we're gonna check it again. And Ed's been putting coals around the outside right along. It looks like it's doing really good. Get the shadow out of the way there. Whew, might need to add a little bit more water. It looks like it's getting thick.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's at 203. And what's the slow cooker? 190, you said?
A slow cooker on low is 190, and it's been about 203 to 205 degrees. So yeah, we're doing really
So
good.
add some more water. Do we need to put more spices in that too? I mean, shouldn't you mix that up? You know what I mean? So it doesn't dilute it.
Ed wants more spices.
Well, I mean, if you're going to add water, we don't want to dilute it. Do you have another package of the mixy stuff?
I do.
All right. 'Cause
Yeah.
you know that juice is great with buttered bread too.
True.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
More juice and more spices coming up.
Woo-hoo.
So Ed's chopping some of the bigger logs down into smaller pieces so they'll fit in the fire pit. We don't have a chainsaw and we don't have an axe, but we were able to find a fairly cheap hatchet at Walmart the other day.
What a hatchet! Total cast iron. There's no way you're going to break the handle. You can use it as a hammer on the back. When my woman goes in Walmart to score something, she comes up with an awesome tool. It just needs sharpened, is all.
Yeah, he sharpened it with a stone that he found here in the campsite. So he's really getting a feel for 18th century. A true pioneer.
Yeah.
So we put in some more water and some more spices, probably almost 2 more cups of water. But we also took out some of the potatoes and tasted them to see how they're doing. And the potatoes actually are almost done. So we've been cooking just a little over 3 hours right now. We think the 4 hours is going to be it, and we'll be all finished. So we're looking forward to checking it in another 50 minutes.
Another 50 minutes, and just so you know, Sandy, we warmed the extra water up and that on the stove before we added it, so it didn't shock the cast iron.
Yeah, you don't want to be adding cold water into a hot pot. Never, 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 because that just...
And on the other side of the cautionary and being safe thing, although I haven't had to use the hose, you know the old saying, never leave a campfire unattended. Well, as we sat outside and in the shade and watched this, I don't know, 3-4 embers jumped out, and I had to tend to it.
Yeah, so...
Don't leave the campfire unattended. And if you're going to douse it, these rocks get so hot, if they have any moisture in them, they could split and pieces can fly everywhere. So be cautious when you're doing that.
Yeah.
That's the tips that I learned from a native Canadian Indian
Uh-huh.
back in the day.
Okay, so in summary, Ed said he was putting new coals around our pot about every 15 to 20 minutes. We decided for this last hour just to kind of let it sit because the stuff was pretty much done anyway. So it's 4 o'clock. It's been 4 hours total. So we're ready to take this pot inside and eat.
Set it on the stove and get things cleaned up and enjoy a meal made without any propane. Just good eats.
It's very heavy.
Yeah.
The pot itself was heavy, but when you put like 3 or 4 pounds of food in it, it makes it even worse.
You're okay, Bud Boo. You gotta move there, friend. Woo. Oh, let's take a look at this. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, it smells so good.
Large cast iron, too. We didn't know it, but it's the only cast iron that's made in the United States, in Tennessee.
And has been since 1896.
1896, and it's got these little things, I didn't know what they were, but the moisture collects on those and drips off, so it's sort of self-basting. So
Yeah.
glad to support American, manufactured, and thank you, Lodge, for such a wonderful, wonderful Dutch oven. Our first time with it, and I can't tell you enough. It comes pre-seasoned, but we did season it again before we used it with some canola oil. So here we go. And we got lots of meals to stash away, which was our goal.
Mm-hmm.
And no propane involved except for heating the little saucepan when we had to add some more because I didn't want to shock everything. So we're very excited. It's been a great experience, a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. You know, I've made a lot of beef stews in crock pots over the years, but I honestly have to say this is the best beef stew I've ever made in my life.
It's fantastic. I don't know whether the cast iron or cooking over open campfire did it, but it just has a great taste. This is fantastic. Okay, the cooking experience is over, and what we would have done differently, the meal came out fantastic, but what I would have done differently is the little tiny pit I built off to the side, I put the coals in the main fire, I would have put away, a couple of feet away from the main pit, because sometimes it was pretty intense coming to the Dutch oven to check it and get everything ready. You know, we kept adding coals and things, and so I wish I would have put that over a little bit. But otherwise, making sure it was sealed around the edges with some gravel was a good idea. We kept everything well insulated, and I think really helped it cook evenly. Overall, a total success. We're so happy that we tried this project, gathered the wood, totally free to get the wood, didn't use any propane, and it's a great way to make a large bulk meal if you're into boondocking and trying to watch your expenses, and that was our goal. So we made the investment in the pot, and now we've got plenty of meals to set aside for the next day.
3 or 4 days worth more meals probably, and I think with all the meat and the vegetables and the seasoning packets that we bought, we don't have more than $12 in this meal to feed us for like 4 or 5 days.
Great, $12 and 4 or 5 days worth of meals. So it's great if you're boondocking and you're really on a tight budget like we are, and it just worked out wonderful. And plus the weather was fantastic too. Didn't use any propane at all, except one little time when we had to add some extra water and some spices to it, and I was concerned about shocking it by adding cold water. Sorry for the road noise behind us. It's just where we're at, but it's a free spot. And you know, thanks so much for tuning in, watching what we're doing. It was a fun experience. Can't wait to do it again. Sorry for my appearance, but there was no way I was going to take a shower and shave knowing I was going to be tending a fire all day long. That comes next.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
See ya.